Hello, good evening all. Welcome back to Java class. Today we are going to see the Core Java module 2, which is basically talking about class and object. So let us move to here. Here in this, today we are going to cover the parts like what is a class, what is an object, and what are the types of variables, and what are the literals and the types of operators. And we have a control flow, and we are having a looping statements. This parts we will going to cover in module 2 here. Here the main concept, first we have to be understand, like as I mentioned every time, that whenever you're going to study about any concept, first we need to know from the very basic, like what is that. Okay, inside that we can have a some set of sub questions like what are they and why it is needed and use of it, every part. So first let us consider what is a class is what basically. Yesterday, in the last lecture we mentioned that if you want to create a Java programming language, class is needed. Okay, so class is what? So we know how to declare a class, but what is a class? You can say like class is a blueprint of a object. Classes or else class is a blueprint. Like let us consider one student class. Okay, so you people are all our students. Okay, so that means if I want to store some detail about you, so what I was creating, I'm creating one student class, but that student class is reusable by many time by creating more than one object. For a single student I'm creating one object, for more than one student I'm creating more than one object. So this is called a class. Okay, so we can have a n numbers of definition. For that, let us move to the slide here. So what is a class? And they are here mentioning, first let us answer, understand what is a class here. So let me move to the next slide here. In the real world, they mentioned that there are the thousands of anything. Here they mentioned a bicycle. It's like they have a same make and model. Okay, and but it's for creating this many bicycles we need one blueprint, like you people can see here. So it's a set of a blueprints contains the same components. Okay, so I have a blueprints, and then using that blueprint I'm creating a n numbers of bicycle. So bicycle is what? Here it's an instance of a class of objects known as bicycle. Here they mentioned, and as I mentioned, class is the blueprint from which individual objects are created. Okay, so now see, in this diagram they mentioned that there are the bicycles is created based on this blueprint. They are creating n numbers of bicycle. Okay, and before going with that, bicycles, that means it's a bicycle is a class they mentioned or a object they mentioned. It have a state and behavior. So whatever class we are talking about, every class have a state and also a behavior. Okay, so now what are the definition you will be provided by a class? It's a class is a blueprint. Okay, and class is an instance of an object, and we can say class is used to buy uh, many objects. Okay, this also I can say class is a blueprint, class is an instance of object, class is used by many objects. Okay, so that means let us consider one example here. Okay, so here I'm creating a class student. In this class I have a state, and they mentioned the class contains a state and behavior. Okay, so here one point we will add, class have state and behavior. Okay, so what is a state here? About that class is nothing but the state, or you can say it's a variable. First let us go one by one. We can say attribute, and we can say it's a variable. Fine. So here you mentioned I'm creating int id, student id. For a better understanding I'm creating, So first let us understand what is this. Here int is nothing but the data type. Okay, the syntax of creating a variable. Okay, how to create a variable. So number one is data type, and the space in we have a variable name. Okay, we put a semicolon. This is how to declare a variable we are declaring. Okay, so there are three names we can give to the variable: state, attribute, and another one name also we can give. It's nothing but the properties. Okay, in all the names we can explain the variables. And another variable which I was going to declare here is about the name of a student. So I am writing st name. Okay, and fine. So here state is done. The next I mentioned class have a state and behavior. So what is behavior? Behavior is nothing but the method which we are having in the class. Okay, so let us see what is a behavior. Okay, so what are the other names of behavior? Behavior, method, function, or we can say procedure. So if someone is asking what is the behavior of a class, you are supposed to explain about the method of a class. Okay, and here we are adding void. Okay, so how to declare a method? Okay, so we have a return type. Here we are not supposed to say it's a data type, it's a return type. And name of method. If you are giving a name of method with more than one words, okay, then first word must start with small letter, but other words must be in the caps. Okay, start with the caps. Name of a method, and we have open close bracket. Okay, and we open a bracket and we close a bracket. So now let us apply with the same thing here. Okay, here I put it in the comment, and the next line I follow the same syntax here. It's here I need a void, and name of my method is display. And you people can see display what? Display the detail of a dear student. So I am writing the second word starts with caps and open close, and we are giving this. That's it. So this is the way we are declaring a method. And inside this we are going to, whatever we are going to write is nothing but the statements or implementations. Okay, so what are the implementation we are going to do? Display details. So nothing is nothing but I'm going to print a detail of a student. So for that I'm having a system. Okay, I have out and I have a print ln, and we have what is that, the additionally I am not going to print stid here. I can do like this also, but while printing I know what is this and what is that. Okay, for that, for additional statements I want to print, it's nothing but the string statements I am writing here. The student id is plus we are having, and again the same case, system dot out dot, and we have a println. Print and println, there are two methods here. So what is the println and print? Print is actually in single statement you write all the things. Println is actually taking a new statement. Okay, so once it completed the statement, and it takes a new line to write another statement. Okay, so println is used for this, and student name is st name. Done. So this is how we are declaring a class. And why I was mentioned here is because of this word. Class is a blueprint. Fine, class have a state and behavior. State is nothing but my variable, and behavior is nothing but my method. To understand this, we actually did this written over this. So in this line by line, just understand what are they. Okay, fine. So now let us move to the part of object. Okay, so what is an object? Now you can see guys, so class dog, I made a student here, and this is two variables are given, that is become a state, and this is behavior. Basically here it is not mentioned, it's a behavior basically. And for one class we are creating n numbers of 1 2 3. Three objects is created. There is a class name, this is object name. Here in the right side we are instantiating. Today we will discuss about this, what is this. Okay, and 2 dot size, 3 dot size, and we are calling a method the behavior using this object. Okay, and here they are declaring a value over here for a variable. So I'm also doing the same thing over here. So you can see n numbers of objects are created. Fine. So class is, again we can say class is a template, or the class define the properties of the object or method. Same case, right? What we discussed currently. There are n numbers of definition we can give. Our class is basically a template or a blueprint, and using this we can define a method and manipulating a data. Like using methods, like you can say I want to manipulate any data, I can do the methods. Using methods I can manipulate this two data. What are the data? My variable is nothing but the data. Fine. So now coming to the next point, what is object? So let us move for it. So object, what is the definition I can provide for the object here? Object is a real world objects, or you can say it's a key to understanding object oriented technology. Yes, very beginning, from very beginning we are keep on talking about object oriented, object oriented. So what is object oriented? We almost discussed this, but still again I'm repeating this. Object oriented means so that whatever concept or a programming language that is actually follow that rules. It is rule following the rules of object. See, as we discussed that student is object, table is an object, this dog is an object, this television is an object. Okay, each and every part is an object. It's a thing. Okay, but everything has, you can see I can create a same table, one another one copy over here. Okay, I can create a television like another. There is a dog for the one copy of this dog. Okay, so but each and everything is there, but the state and behavior of this becomes changed. This dog has a different name, this dog have a different color, and this table, this is now whatever I'm taking, it's a desk only or a table only, but we can create a copy with the changes of attributes or a variables, you can say state. And the television may be a brand name and the television size of that and everything. So this is different. Okay, the screen size, everything. And you can see object means your dog, your desk, your television, your bicycle, everything. That's why they discuss about the bicycle here. Okay, so what are the two characteristics of object, state and behavior? Dogs have a state and behavior. Of course, you can see dog have a state, name, color, breed, hungry, and behavior is nothing but it is barking, fetching, and yes, of course, wagging tail. So this is how we are explaining. Okay, so we almost saw this, and now how to declare a class. So class is a keyword, and one is a name of a class. Okay, and inside this we are going to write any state and a behavior implementation. Same way, one is one of a class, book is a class, college is a class, anything is a class. Okay, for let us consider a book. Okay, book means not everything is book. Okay, so we have a different type of books, novel books, and we have a IT books, and we have another max books, or many scientific related books, and e-books also we have. So books is a common name for everything. Okay, but using this book we have all the different type of objects we can create. So now how to define a class? Over here, class name, and here the variable, as I mentioned, any data type, and you have a name of the variable, and method name. Here they mention what is the instance variable. We will discuss about this in the types of variables, and there are n numbers of methods. Here till now we are not using any parameter. Further we will use a parameter and do that. And how to class contains a name, several variable declaration, which is an instance variable it contains, and several method declaration. All are called members of the class. I hope we discussed about this in the last class. Who are they? A state and behavior, or variable or method, or the member of my class over here. And now the sample example for a box. These are all the instance variable of a class. Okay, so now the new box object is created and a new value assigned to its with variable. So how we are creating an object of the class? Box, a new box, and we are writing. What is this? This is a name of a class. You can see match here and match here. This is a name of class. But what is this? This is nothing but a memory allocation is happening over there. This is a constructor is created over here. Okay. So here additionally we are going to see after this in the object. So we are going to see that after the types of variables, let us discuss about what are the constructors. About constructors. Okay, so we can say this subtype, or matlab internal parts of this constructor. What is this? Let us see later. Okay, and what is object? As I mentioned, you are seeing here in the slide, object is a real world entity. Okay, I can write real world entity um, having have state and behavior, and it's basically uh, you can see here it difference upon that each bicycle or with the same blueprints, but that this is you can see the individual objects are created for the class. Okay, so that means for one class we are creating n numbers of objects, so can create multiple objects for one class. Okay, so now go to the notepad and let us do one example and to find what is an object and how to write an object. Okay, so here what I was doing, I'm going to file, first save it in the name of the file which I needed. Here I'm giving a name like same example we will took here, student dot java. So this is the step I mentioned you to do the programming. So now start doing creating a class. Okay, class student is declared. Now open the class and close the class over here, and after that declare a state here int student id. Here it becomes a instance variable. Why? What is the naming reason of instance variable? Because this variable memory is allocated while we create a instance of a class, because memory allocated for this variable is at the time of object creation, or you can say another name of object is the instance creation. Okay, so that's why we named it as a instance variable, and we are having a student name. Okay, now declare a behavior here. So void display details. So the same example we are repeating here, system.out.println. I want to write down properly, so printing it like this, student id is, if you want to, after a statement you want a gap over here after id printing, before id printing, just put a break space over here, and here I printing a student id. And now system.out.println the student name is plus st. Fine. So now coming to the main part. So here what I was going to do, I am creating a new class, or within the same class I am create object, let it be. So here I am creating a new object. So public method here, main method public static void main, and it actually takes a string arguments. And what is the name of my class? How to create an object of the class? Student1, which is the object, and here I am writing new student. Okay, and here using this object I was setting a detail of my id and name of this current student. Student id I am giving 1 to 1, and here st1 dot student name is equal to, so I am providing some name here, sorry. So that's it, done. And after setting the details I will just want to display the detail. So currently what we are doing, we are using this one student class, we are adding the detail of one student. Okay, So now just save it and follow the same step which we did last class. So for executing, so command dot exe. Okay, and here first set the path of the file, where path of the file. So basically here, I hope, yeah, let me check whether student.java is there or not. Yes, of course it's there, you can see. Okay, dar directory is a directory command which shows the complete directory which is available. And here java c student dot java. Okay, and after that java, simply give student. It display the detail of one student. Okay, so now just take a minimize that. Now I want to add a detail of another student. For that, I'm not able to use a single object. Here I need to create a another one object. Okay, so here student, same case, student, new student, st2, and we are writing new student here. And after that, st2 dot id of that student, it's actually 122. And st2 dot st name equal to, I can say, j, and done. And st2 dot display details. So, and one more thing you have to be remind, like about variables. So how I declared it had be used everywhere with the same name, with any changes, without any changes, because it is case sensitive. Java is basically a case sensitive programming. So here small m and capital M matters. Okay, and here I'm giving s and capital S. If I provide over here, it will not work. It shows that content is not available, you have to create it. Fine. So now the another detail of a student is added. Now simply again save it and go to command and again compile it. So just run it. So now we are getting the detail of two student. This is how we are creating a simple program to add a detail of a student. So here, what are the concepts we saw in this program? We declare a class, we declare an instance variable, and declare a behavior, which is nothing but the method. Declare a method, and this is my main method declaration. And what is this? This is a object declaration. Fine. Fine. So when, as I mentioned, while memory allocated for this variable at the time of object or instance creation. Okay, so here I create the object, but the memory of the variable, this instance variable, is created, okay, at the time of a object declaration only. But to be used by this, about the complete members of this class is created at the time of once you write new student here. So new is a keyword which used to basically allocating a memory of a class. Okay, so new keyword, and this is again the name of a class, and this part is nothing but my constructor. Okay, so object declaration and instantiation, I can say. That means instantiation nothing but I'm creating a, using a new keyword, I am instantiating a memory of a class. Okay, instantiation of object. Okay, while you are doing this, then only the memory of the object is, memory of your class is created, and there we are now ready to access the members of the class using this object. See, student1.stid, student1 dot, using this object. If you want to see, this constructor is basically taking a values and store it in the st1. What is the detail? It is storing your member instance variable and method declaration. Okay, method detail. So that's why we are calling it with this, using this object. So method and instance variable memory is allocated at the time of object creation. Okay, here where it is actually storing the object, it's in the, it is storing a object in the object pool. Okay, store object in the object pool. Fine. Store object in the object pool. Fine. So this is what we have to understand. Let us move to the slide. There we will see some simple definition like that. Simple class is declared. And now uh, yes, how to declaring an object. So in two-stage process, declare a variable of the class type. See, here you can consider student, st1 I mentioned, which is box, my box. Value of my box is a reference to an object. If one exists or null, at this moment the my box is null. Okay, so that means what they mean to say, if I'm not writing this, okay, I simply declare a object. So let's see, if I'm not giving any values, okay, so supposed to take a null value here. Okay, so just save it, and again I am compiling this. Now you can see st1 might not have been initialized while compiling. It's a compilation error. It is showing what you are supposed to do whenever you are declaring a reference variable in your Java. You have to initialize with value. See, I don't want to give any value, so I put it as a null. Null is again a value only. Okay, for a reference variable by default the value is null. So now let us see, it's compiled successfully now. So now you can see what type of exception it is throwing, null pointer. This is runtime. While you are doing compilation, there is a error is throwing, that is compile time error. And while running, if you are getting any error, that is a exception, okay, may be handled. That means because of what reason it is showing your null pointer exception, because your st1 is referring to the null concept. Okay, your st1 is referring a null, that's why it is throwing null pointer exception. Then what is the solution? So for that I need to provide this way, new student. Okay, so if I do that, now you can see, compile it and run it. Now it's done again. Clear with this, guys? Okay, fine. This is how we are actually understanding about the object. This is what is explained in this slide also. Acquire an actual physical copy of an object and assign its address to the variable. How to do this? By using allocating memory for a box object. That means I created an object. For allocating a memory of an object, we have to write down this new box. Okay, so what is new address is then stored in the my box reference variable. By this, here you can say class may declare its own constructor or rely on the default constructor. Did I declare any constructor here? You can see I'm not declaring any constructor. That means this constructor is nothing but my default constructor. Who is actually providing this? Okay, default constructor is created by or provided by JVM. Provided by, provided or created by JVM for memory allocation. Okay, so if I'm not creating any constructor over here, as a developer, as a user, I am not creating any constructor. Who is actually creating a memory of my class? This default constructor. Who is creating a default constructor? My JVM. Okay, so Java JVM is Java, JVM full form is Java Virtual Machine. Okay, this is how your JVM is looking after. Okay, fine. Fine. So now let us move to the how to access a member of that with the name of object, like you can say st1, which is the object name, dot data member name. Who is the data member? My student id, student name is a data member, and of course my method is also a data member. Okay, so using this dot operator we are accessing a members of a class. Okay, so this is how what is the name we can provide? It is accessing or invoking member of class using dot operator. Okay, so what is that dot operator? Nothing but your dot, full stop. So dot operator. Fine. So in this one example we saw many things. Okay, first let us recap it. First we declare a class and we declare a variable. That variable name is instance variable, and we declare a method. Here we simply printing a name and then ID of a student. Okay, so till now if you did in the last class also we did how much you completed, it's not enough to execute a program. This much is enough to compile a program. To execute a program, main method is needed. So I declare a main method here. In this, the first step what I did, I declare a object of a object declaration, and I do the instantiation by using new keyword, and I am accessing and invoking a member of a class using dot operator, and finally I'm accessing a members over here. Okay, so to run that, you know that how we have to run the program. Okay, now let us move to the another part. Okay, so this is about your simple class declaration and method declaration. Okay, so this is how we have to explain about the object. Okay, so object is, again you can say object is a reference variable. Object is the reference variable also. Okay, so now coming to the types of variables, there are three types of constructed variables. So almost we saw one variable, that is instance variable, and we have a local variable, and we have a static variable. So what is instance variable? It is created by JVM the time of object instantiation class. Okay, and more than for single object how I can say, uh, it it have more copy for single. Okay, so how we can say here copies is created, sorry, I'm really sorry, it's multiple copies created, multiple copy is created for instance variable for multiple objects. So how we can say this properly? Okay, so let me go over here. So okay, so here they are simply mentioning this. uh, okay, that means for single object, what I mean to say here, here I created one object. Okay, in this, here is almost the memory is allocated. Here one copy of student ID is created, and here also the student ID of student 2 is also created. That means here one copy and here one copy. For a multiple objects, multiple copies created for a instance variable. Okay, so now coming to the local variable. Okay, so it is declared inside method or parameter of any block, parameter of any block, um, but have accessed by class only, accessed by or accessed through method only. Okay, so this is how we can say the local variable is declared inside method or parameter of any block but have access through method only. So that means how we can declare this. Now consider the same example. Here, while displaying a detail, okay, so I want to display some common details about here. Okay, so like we can say the college name. Okay, so here I am providing string college name. It's common, so I can say MGM college. I declare a value also, and you can see this detail I am printing here. The college name is plus college name. Same to same I was displaying. Okay, so now you can see here I am declaring a value and assigning a value to that instance variable. But for the local variable, once you are declaring a local variable, you must initialize a value. Okay, this is nothing but my local variable declared inside a method. Okay, but it is accessed through the class only. Okay, it's what is the sorry, it's a local variable. Any block you can say, like further we are going to study about a constructor. Inside a constructor, or you can say here if I declare a variable here like this int I, so this is also a local variable. Fine. So this is accessed through the method. Once you call this method, that college name is also accessed. After this, the scope of this college name is uh, destroyed, and the scope of your student id and student name is have a scope till you have till the object have a scope. Okay, so if your object have a scope, then your instance variable have a scope till the end of your, till the object is destroying, or you can say, but your local variable have a scope till the method destroying. Okay, method is declared, and to till the method destroyment, your local variable have a declaration. Okay, so now let us run the program and see again. So you can see for both the cases you are using mgm caller, but this is through display detail I was calling. Where it is, so display detail I was calling, through this method you are accessing a local variable. You are not able to access outside this. If you want, I will tell you. So student one dot, I'm writing college name. I want to provide some other name, jvm, sorry, or jm, whatever college. Okay, I return this. So now you can see it shows some compilation error to you. What it is showing, cannot find symbol, college name is, because this scope is still inside the display detail only. So accessing also through this display detail method only. So if you are trying to access like this, so it is wrong. Okay, so this line throws error because it is local variable. Okay, fine, clear with this. So this is how we have to identify a instance and local variable. Local variable have a scope till the method scope of memory, we can say. Fine. So the two variables we saw here, instance variable and local variable inside the method, and the instance variable is declared, we didn't see, it's declared inside the class but outside the method. Okay, and about a static variable we'll see in fourth module. Please note it down. the fourth module we will discuss about this. Now let us directly move to the constructor. So first let us see what is constructor. Okay, so now for that we will move to the slide. What is a constructor? It's a special type of method and that enables the object to initialize itself when it is created. Okay, so just note down this point. Initialize the object when it is created, okay, for the class and when it is created. Okay, so using this constructor, what I was basically doing, I'm initializing myself, so that's why I'm saying it's instantiation or initializing. Okay, while I'm initializing this, memory of the object is created, and the memory is created for whom? The class. Okay, the members, and constructor have the same name as the class itself. Okay, so let us close this, and I'm creating a new, this is, you can see, demo. Okay, constructor demo. Okay, just save this file first with the name of demo constructor. I'm writing it in the short form, demo consent dot java. Okay, so let's just declare a class here first. I'm writing a calculator class, and I'm writing int number one, two instance variable I'm creating. I'm not keep on writing it is instance variable or something, so please understand. So it's number one and number two, and here I'm having a method, add method, and here I'm writing system dot out dot println number one plus number two. So for number one, number two, what I was doing, I'm creating an object of this public static void main, and here we are writing string arguments. Again the same thing we are repeating here. Okay, so for now create an object of a class. Okay, calculator c1 equal to, I'm writing, now I'm actually doing creating a constructor. See here, so here what I was doing, this I'm writing like this. Okay, that means actually I'm instantiating it here. What is creating here? That one constructor is creating by whom? JVM. Here we are checking after a demo of constructor. This calculator constructor, I am writing like this, calculator constructor. Here is created by JVM. And now c1 dot add, and next. So now what I was going to do, calculator c1 equal to new. Okay, just first let it be, and let me first do this example and see how it is doing. I do one wrong thing here. I made a file name as demo constant, but I give a name of a class as calculator. So I save it with a different name. Wait, sorry. The file name and class name must be same, right? So let's me create it with the calculator.java. Same. Acha, almost is there. Yes, let it be. So I'm replacing it. Fine. So I'm doing calculator.java. Okay, now Java. You know what will be the output? It will be like, acha, I'm not giving anything. It will not print anything. It simply print 0. Okay, because by default the instance variable have a default value. Okay, but your local variable does not have a default value. Okay, so let me add one more point over here. Okay, instance variable have default value. depends on data type. Local variable does not have default value, must be initialized. That means in any block, if you are declaring any variable, must be initialized because it becomes a local variable. So now give the value here 60, because if I'm not giving anything, it takes 0, because number one number to have a default value 0 because it's a integer. Okay, so now let's move to here. Now again compile it. Okay, now you can see 150 is given. Okay, so I'm opening this and open. Okay, it's 90 plus 60 is 150. It is showing a addition. Okay, here why we did this program here, what constructor is created? Default constructor. Okay, so this is a simple, I am not creating any constructor, but still the one constructor is created. Okay, that is default constructor. Who is creating this? JVM. Fine. So now let me create one constructor here. Okay, how to create a constructor? What is the rule to create a constructor? Just go through here. Constructor have the same name as the class itself. Do not have a return type, not even a void. That means you can see, whenever we are declaring a method, we have a return type and we have a name of a method which is different to the class name. But if you have a constructor, constructor must have a same name as a class name. Fine. And it's like a special method, or you can say. Okay, and next step what they mention here, constructor is automatically called when an object is created. Okay, constructor initializes the state of a new object. Now you can see any access specifier you can provide except to your protected, and here public private is also fine. If you are not declaring anything, it takes default and public name of a constructor, and here you can pass a parameter inside a statement. Now the same example, here I was creating my own constructor. Here system dot out dot println constructor 1, or we can constructor, or here we can write just some good words, hello constructor. Fine. So here, if I run this program, okay, so what will be the output will come? 150 will be printed. Okay, but additionally hello constructor. Now you can see here the default constructor is not created. Here in this case it is calling the constructor which is created by the user. Okay, once I click over here, it goes to here. And so how to check the flow? So for this, better we can do this program in the NetBeans. Okay, which is the tool which we are further we are going to use. Just open a NetBeans. Okay, for that almost the JDK you know how to install it, and simply you have to run the NetBeans. Okay, let me, yes, better use the latest version. And I'll flow check you told you the flow, how to do the flow over here. New project. Next, let me make it as a constructor underscore demo. Okay, in this path it is showing new project. You can see name of a project, project location, project folder is created in this form. Okay, the package of the path is given like this. Okay, if you want to change it, you can simply give demo. It created a main class itself. It's itself. Okay, finish it. Okay, so what I was doing, I'm closing all. I'm simply opening my current file here. Just double click it, it get open. Just just deleted the comment whatever you are having. Okay, the same example we will see here, like let me have the main method here, and here I'm doing this part as it is. I'm not doing any new thing. I'm simply creating a class, and I'm copying and pasting the same thing. Okay, there I have a main method in the same class. I'm having a main method in the different class over here. Now just create a object of the calculator. You can see C1 is equal to, once you write new, control space, once you put, you can see the list of concept is coming, and C1 dot. Okay, you can see I can call a add method. Fine. So first I will show you the flow without this constructor. For that, first I can comment it. You can see I'm commenting. Okay, how to understand the flow? Just put a, simply click on the number which is line numbers. Okay, it's a breakpoint of a line, when it is accessing, when it is, where it is going. Okay, when it is happening. Okay, so just normally to run the program, you can see shift F6 is there. For debugging line by line, if you want to debug, you have a control shift F5. I'm pressing control shift F5. You can see it is debugging. Okay, and you can see it's watching will be there. It is watching. So what it is first created, it's created a class. So I'm just taking over there. Okay, I'm creating a class, and in this there is a variables. There are all the different type of variables is created internally, and the arguments it taking as a string. By default length is 75. Okay, that means length is by currently it is 0. So whatever values we are adding depends upon the size will be incremented. Okay, so now once it coming to the line, first line, because main is the entry point of your project execution. Okay, just F5, press F5. Now you can see, as I mentioned, instance variable memory is allocated while you create an object of the class. Okay, next it goes to here, and now once you call the c1 dot add, it goes to here. Okay, so currently the constructor is created by JVM. This is a default constructor now. Okay, so now just remove the command here. Okay, now I'm doing the same thing. I put a breakpoint here. For that, first you stop executing and do the changes. Okay, so I put a breakpoint here, save it again. Okay, control S. Now let us do the again the debugging one by one. Okay, so now you can see after this line it created an instance of this instance variable, and from here it goes to your created constructor. So this constructor is nothing but the non-parameterized constructor. That means I'm not passing any parameter. It's a non-param constructor. Okay, so this is what, how it is called. Now that's why it is printing this, and our add method is called. Now you can see hello constructor. Once this line is executed, it will print a 150. Fine. The same output which you get over here, the same thing you are getting here also. But we in NetBeans we can see the flow easily. Okay, understand? Please note it down. For debugging a file, it's Control Shift F5. For executing a file, it's Shift F6. Simply, if you want to execute, okay, Shift F6. If you press, it simply run and show it to the output. Okay, so now clear with the constructor. Okay, runs when the client uses the new keyword. Okay, if class has no constructor, if Java gives a default constructor with no parameter. Okay, and after that you can see that what are the types of non-parameterized parameter. Parameterized means I have a some parameter. Now I'm creating another parameterized constructor. Just write down here calculator. Here I'm passing int number 1, and here I'm giving in number 2. For that case, I'm passing a value over here while calling this. So I don't want to give the value here. Now I'm using one, now whatever value is given over here, that should be stored here, then only it will be print, right? It will be print over here. So if I store here 23, now you can see how I was calling this calculator C2 equal to new calculator You can see control space, you can see it is saying it's a parameterized. Okay, it's a non-parameterized. Fine. So once I enter this here, I was supposed to call a pass a value here. 23, I'm passing 56, whatever you needed. So and after that, if I call c1 dot add, fine. So now here it is going to over here. Here almost I'm printing. I need a add method also, but here I need to simply set a value from this local variable to this instance variable. So I'm writing number 1 equal to number 2. Again, number 1 equal to, here I'm writing number 1, and number 2 is equal to number 2. Now guys, if I select this, you see what it is, no highlighting. It is only currently also it is referring this local only. This is also referring local, this is also referring local. Now if I run this program, you people can see in both the cases I'm getting 0. Okay, let me show you this. Control Shift F5, press F5 to go to the, here the hello constructor is doing. Once I click add, here of course it is getting what, that this both the values are getting 0, so it gets a 0. So now press F5. Now it is calling the parameterized constructor. In the parameterized constructor, the number value is 0. So what I need, if I, it's supposed to give what, 23 and 56, but still also here also it is getting 0. So why it is doing this? Because you can see your local variable and instance variable have a same name. To differentiate that, so we are using one keyword, this actually referring the current instance variable. So if I like down, now you can highlighting and see. Okay, you can see here it is highlighting here. Okay, if you click this, it is now highlighting this. So now you can see you are getting a expected output. Sorry, I'm calling this now. Fine. Shift F6, C1 dot add. Sorry, here I have to pass C2 dot add. Okay, now you got a 79. Understand this? So this is what constructor here. This is a parameterized constructor. Okay, so this is what, three types of constructor: default, parameters. Default, you can see if I'm not giving anything, it is taking a default. If I have giving anything, it takes that constructor if I'm declaring. So we can have a n numbers of constructor, but with a different parameter. Okay, so this is all about your, you can see the example is given over here. If I was calling here new pointer and go to here and set the value of x and y and printing it over here 10 and 20. And the same case, if you are having a parameterized, from here it is taking ink value. Here I am getting a value from the user. We will see this in the next module. So ink and x equal to a, y equal to b, and here x plus y we are printing. So what you are giving here, the values get it from the user. I am not giving any value. Okay, and what is the object class? Object class is nothing but the root of all classes in Java. That means here I am declaring calculator class and constructor demo class. Every class is by default extending what? Basically, you people can see every class is extending a object class. What is object class? It's a root of all class hierarchy. Every class have a object as a super class. In this class we have arrays and whatever method, you can see the println method. Okay, the system, okay, out, and whatever methods we are using here. Okay, the predefined methods, everything is comes under your object. Okay, so once you click on this, it will take you here. Control Alt and you can give click. Okay, so it will take you here. Once you click on this, it will take you. And if I write like this, then also it's same. Now you can see the object class. You can see this is an object class which contains n numbers of methods here. So for this, about this method, we will see it in the basically in the fourth module. in the fourth module we are going to see object methods, your about a static, and we will see about some wrapper classes and inner class, most of the concepts. And there are two important methods of object class are equals and toString. Okay, so there are some actually 8 methods in the object class. We will discuss all the 8 methods. Okay, so there are but 2 methods are simply important. Okay, and at the very top of the inheritance tree is called object, and its equivalent definition of class, as I mentioned, simply if you click return a clock or if you write in a clock extends object, both are having a same meaning. Okay, so this part we will discuss later. Okay, in the as I mentioned the object methods, as I mentioned there, I will explain you about all these things with one example. Okay, so which part is missing here? It's, yeah, of course we completed all the part here. Okay, so what is a literal? Okay, so this type of operator, control flow and looping statement. Literals is nothing but the value which is given to your value given to variable, like int a equal to 10. This 10 is what? My literal. But what type of literal it is? It is a integer literals. Okay, if I write float I equal to 5.0 f. Okay, f means we supposed to say it's a float. Okay, and it becomes a float literals. I'm providing string s equal to, I'm giving some value, and you can say it's a string literal. That means the value which is given to your variable is nothing but the literals. And types of operators, arithmetic operator. But about this operators and about this control flow, we will see it with the OOPS concept. Okay, arithmetic operators, and we have a logical operators. What are the arithmetic operators? Nothing but your plus, minus, your star, and the star means multiplication is, and division, and you have a modulus. Modulus returns a remainder. Okay, and we have a and we have or, which is nothing but the pipe here, and exclamatory mark is a not here. And after that we have a comparison operator. What is comparison operator? Less than, greater than. Okay, and we have a less than equal to, and we have a greater than equal to. Okay, and not equal to, equal to, this is also comes under here, equal to. Whenever you are comparing two values, in this case we are using this. And we have one more thing, that is miscellaneous operator. What is a miscellaneous operator? Is question mark. We will see one by one by with the usage, and we have an instance of. Okay, this is also one operator. Fine. And the control flow, we have two concepts, if else and switch case. And looping statement, we have a while loop, we have a for loop, we have a do while. Here everything is a small. Okay, okay, so about this syntax and about this all the part. Okay, we almost discuss about the class and object. Our main focus is today is a class and object only, and we saw the variables and we saw the constructors. Okay, three types of constructor. What are they? It's default constructor created by JVM, and we have a parameterized constructor, have parameter, Just go through the video again for what is param and non-param. Okay, so non-parameter is constructed, does not have a parameter. Okay, in the video I show you the slides. In the slides you got an example also. Okay, if you want for a 2 minutes I will pass it and you see. Okay, so this is the example of non-parameterized. Okay, and this is a example of parameterized. So you people can work out on this and you can check after it. And what are the other parts like operators? In every chapter we are going to repeat all this parameterized methods and classes, of course. And after that, as I mentioned, operators and loop, if else, everything. Okay, the next module we will cover this all part with the examples. Okay, fine. And any doubts in the at the end of the time you will get one assignment. You have to complete that assignment. Okay, if any doubts you have, we will discuss after it in the next class. Okay, and this is how we can, and I'm reminding an important points to you. To run the file you have a shift F6 shortcut, and for debugging control shift F5. Okay, so and after that for creating an object you have to use a new keyword in the class object creation to instantiating a object. And this is a non-parameterized and this is a parameterized constructor. You can see it is highlighting, and if you highlighting this, you can how to remove this breakpoint. Just click on this again, it will remove this breakpoint. Okay, to get the flow of the program you are actually putting the breakpoint. Just click on this. Okay, fine, and save it. So simply if you run this, it will execute a program. Okay, here for the number one I am not providing any value, so that's why it is not giving anything. So if you want to give any value, by default value you can give over here. Okay, number one and number two. Fine. So now you can get a proper output. 50, 70 and 79 you will get the output. Fine. So this is how we can use a NetBeans also. Whenever until you are not familiar with writing any codings or something, better use a notepad, and then only you can understand where you are actually lacking and where you are giving a wrong things. If you are using NetBeans, it used with that some of the errors it will show on the way, like you can see. If I write like this, okay, it will show me the error. There is no calculator like this. Okay, it asked me to rename it. So it's very, that means predefined. There are some tools it is checking. Okay, the error which you are getting in the compiler over here, it is shown in the NetBeans there itself only. Okay, but runtime only it will show it at the while running like this. Okay, so that is the point. Okay, fine, and let us complete today. Okay, so we saw object, we saw class, and we saw the constructor and types of variables. And as I mentioned, we will discuss about the operators and a string wrapper class, any everything about in the further classes. Okay, thank you so much.